Okay, so before we continue from where we are left, remember now where we are left. Allocation of the cost over the life of the machine. AC था कुछ 50,000 का, है ना? ये एग्जाम्पल ना. प्रोजेक्टर था कुछ 50,000 का, लाइफ था 5 साल का. So 50,000 over 5 years is 10,000 per year. But before we continue from there, एक दो question I'll ask you about the like yesterday's lecture, and let's see if you guys are able to do that. Okay, so I collected money from customers which was pending since long. Okay, so I collected money, rupees or dollars, whatever, collected money from customers, just write down the pura line, which was pending since long. And I used that to pay pending salary of the employee. Okay, so I collected the money from the customer which was pending since long, and then using that money, I paid the pending salary of the employee. Okay, I want you guys to show me the accounting entries. How are you going to be having the accounting? I mean, the finally accounting effects, not accounting entry. Okay, so what will it impact? Balance sheet, income statement, what will it impact? Okay, go ahead. The money was due from the customers and you collected that. And वो जो पैसा आया उससे आपने जो सप्लायर का पेमेंट पेंडिंग था वो सप्लायर का पेमेंट सॉरी सैलरी का पेमेंट जो पेंडिंग था वो सैलरी का पेमेंट तुम लोग ने कर दिया. Salary was pending, you paid that. Customer say money was supposed to be collected, you collected that. So finally, हाँ पूरा पूरा. So मतलब finally, what is the impact on the balance sheet? I want to see that. What's your name? Sorry. Shivani. L-I. Good. First one, she got it right. Okay. Check what is there in your brain. Please write it. And put your balance, not balancing. That's it doing not balancing. There are two things that are happening. So once Shivani got it right, that I collected money from the customers, उसका double impact क्या होगा? And second one is वो पैसे से हमने salary जो pending था वो pay कर दिया था. So there are like total of 4 things that you have to write. It's double entry, like 2 entries for each item. So first one you collected cash from the customer, उसके 2 entries होंगे. And secondly, वो जो cash आया वो आपने pay किया for pending salary of the employee. So उसके 2 entries होंगे. Good. What's the name? Amin. Good, Amin. What is it? Good. Perfect. Anyone? Good. This is good now. Right, right. Yes. Okay, and then also counter into this. Let's do some. That good enough. You have received the money. You will go some. Okay, so I'm happy at least like 8 of the notebooks that I checked was right. फर्स्ट वन, यू कलेक्टेड कैश फ्रॉम द कस्टमर विच वॉज पेंडिंग सिंस लॉन्ग। तो ये जो कस्टमर है जिससे कैश पेंडिंग सिंस लॉन्ग है, इसको हमारे अकाउंट्स में बोलते हैं मनी रिसीवेबल या अकाउंट रिसीवेबल। ओके, सो आई नीड टू चेक इट कि ये कैश मुझे पता है कहां पर है, कैश इज माई असेट, ये तो मुझे पता है, बट मनी रिसीवेबल इज माई असेट और अ लायबिलिटी। अब ये मुझे सिर्फ कल के लेक्चर के बाद आई होप आई विल बी एबल टू रिकलेक्ट इट, बट इफ नॉट आई अप्लाई लिटिल बिट ऑफ माइंड। मनी इज रिसीवेबल, क्यों? मनी is receivable from customer. So why is money receivable from customer? Because I trusted customer and gave him a product. I invested not in the raw material and finished good. I invested in the trust of the customer. Investment asset. This could be one logic that I could apply. और money is receivable मतलब future में पैसा आएगा. Future में पैसा आएगा मतलब asset. Asset is either considered as an investment or something that is going to give you cash in the future. रिसीवेबल है पैसा, आगे जाके पैसा रिसीव होगा, इट्स एन असेट। अगर आगे जाके पैसा पे करना है, पे मतलब आउटफ्लो, इट्स कॉल्ड एज लायबिलिटी। सो हियर आगे जाके पैसा रिसीव होगा, इट्स असेट। So I'll put that money receivable or account receivable over here. What's happening is cash is being collected, so cash will go up, and that receivable was receivable, now it has been received, this is gonna go down. So for the first one, it's like this. The cash will increase and the receivables will come down. Yes, sure. Yes, sure. Yes, sure. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that. Okay, so cash will go up because you have collected the cash, and second one, because that money which was receivable is now received, receivables is going to come down. Try for the second one, please. Good thing. पूरा नाम उसका सैलरी पेएबल है। सैलरी पेएबल। So for the second one, again let's put the balance sheet. So in this case, the cash, we are using that cash and we are paying that cash. That means cash is going to come down. And then let's say she was my employee. I was liable to pay her salary. Her job was done. Month ka end आया था. I was supposed to pay her salary, but I did not have money. So I am liable to pay her salary. What did I say? I am louder. I am. It will show in liability called as she's my employee, so salary payable. All payables are your liability, and I paid her salary right now, so it was payable. Now it's no more payable. Salary payable will go down. So final answer: assets will go down, liability will go down, equity no change. How many of you got this right? Read and reads. Good. अच्छा, एक क्वेश्चन है यहाँ पे. Write down why nothing was recorded in the income statement. Write down the answer in the notebook. Why everything was balance sheet, why nothing was recorded in the income statement. Write down in these two transactions why nothing was recorded in the income statement. Why everything was in the balance sheet only. Like जो मैंने उसको सैलरी पे किया ओके, जो मैंने शिवानी को सैलरी पे किया वो तो मेरा एक्सपेंस है ना, इट शुड बी देयर इन द इनकम स्टेटमेंट। एंड जो कस्टमर से पैसा कलेक्ट किया वो तो मेरा इनकम है, should be there in the income statement. So that's my question. Why nothing was recorded in the income statement? The salary that I paid to her is my expense. The cash that I collected from the customers is my income, is my revenues. Why was it not recorded in the income statement? Please write down answer in your book. Yeah, go. Why nothing was recorded in the income statement? Yep, Shiduk. गुड. हमने आज सेल नहीं किया है, हमने सेल ऑलरेडी किया था. सो ऑलरेडी हमने वो प्रोडक्ट डिलीवर करके सेल रिकॉर्ड किया था, बस उसका पैसा आना बाकी था. दैट मनी हैज कम राइट नाउ. So we don't record the sale later on when the cash is received. We record the sale immediately when the product is delivered. Similarly, we record the salary expense when the month was done. Although I did not pay the salary then, I paid salary after 15-20 days. Chalega. But when that month is done, we record the expense. When the product is delivered, we record the sales. We don't wait for the receipt of cash to record the sales. We don't wait for payment of the cash to record that salary expense. Okay, this in the accounting, you become back, guys. It's famously what is called as accrual based accounting. Write down, sales was already recorded when the product was delivered. The sales was already recorded when the product was delivered to the customer. Important line, we record the sales at the time of delivery. We do not wait for the cash to be collected. The sales was already recorded at the time of delivery when we deliver the product. So important thing, we record the sales when the product is delivered. We don't wait for the cash collection. सरिता क्या नाम बोला मैंने इसका? डैश 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 accrual based accounting. Second, similarly, write down the expense, matlab cost. Write down expense or the cost gets recognized. Expense or the cost gets recognized at the end of the month. Like for salary, I said at the end of the period, you can say at the end of the period. Even though the payment might be made later on. Like I didn't pay her at the end of the month. Even though the payment might be made later on. Okay, this is what is the principle called as accrual based accounting. एक बार थोड़ा याद करने की कोशिश करते हैं. असेट मतलब क्या? Asset matlab my investments. So why do I make an investment? Because I want to start a company. I need a land. Land के ऊपर I need to construct a plant. Plant के अंदर I'll put machineries. Machinery से जो production होगा finished good का, I need to store that somewhere. So I require warehouse. And then for the employees to work, I require a building. Land, plant, machinery, building, warehouse, and this all touchable. So they are called as tangible. Okay, and they are going to be living, they are going to be us with for a long period. We don't buy land every year. So they are called as like long-term investments or long-term assets. Remember, apart from this, we are also required to buy some permissions. For example, अगर मुझे Domino's का पिज्जा बनाना है तो मुझे Domino's का permission लगेगा, which is called as copyright, patent or trademark. That also we don't buy every year. So we buy it and then we are allowed to use that for 25 years. So again, it's a long-term investment, but just that you can see that it's not tangible like this. It is intangible like a PDF file. So these all are your long-term investment. And then we went to short-term investment. कि every year हमें land, plant, machinery buy नहीं करना पड़ता है, but every year वो machine चलाने के लिए हमें बोलो raw material लगेगा. So every year we need to buy raw material. Raw material is your short-term investment. It's called as short-term asset. Okay. Apart from that, every year we will make finished good. We will deliver it to finished good, and then again we'll make new finished good. So finished goods are also your short-term investments. Okay. So two famous short-term investments are your the finished goods and the raw material, which is together called as inventory. And then when I sell product to her, she doesn't pay me immediately. I trust her. Okay, so we trust the customer. So that's the third short-term investment, which is called as trust on the customer, which is what we just said right now, is called as money is receivable from her. So it's called as money receivable, or I don't know if I use that word, debtor kind of one. Okay. Then fourth is another trust that we have, but on supplier. We trust supplier, we give him the advance. We trust supplier and we give him the advance. Okay. And then supplier will give us raw material. Then we will convert it to finished good, we'll deliver it to customer, and then we'll collect money from the customer. So from that perspective, you can say it's an investment with the supplier, investment the trust of the supplier. So that's investment मतलब asset. या फिर you can look at with this way कि एडवांस के बाद रॉ मटेरियल आएगा जिसको हम प्रोसेस करेंगे, प्रोडक्ट बेचेंगे, कस्टमर से फ्यूचर में पैसा आएगा मतलब असेट, पैसा जाएगा मतलब लायबिलिटी. Okay, so for short-term investments, one is like raw material finished good, which is inventory. Second one, trust with the customer, which is receivable, money receivable. And third, trust with the supplier, which is advance paid to supplier. जो किसी ने online में बोला था prepaid expense. Okay, that's what is prepaid expense. This is all your assets, investments. इसके लिए जो पैसा आया है वो दो लोगों ने दिया है. कौन है वो दो लोग? एक है लेंडर्स जिन्होंने लिया है लोन जिसको बोलते हैं डेट, एंड सेकंड वन है शेयर होल्डर्स जिन्होंने दिया है पैसा उसको बोलते हैं इक्विटी. ओके, अब जो लेंडर्स वाला है उसको एल फॉर लोन नहीं है, एल फॉर लायबिलिटी. एंड आई सेड लायबिलिटी मतलब वी आर लायबल टू पे, बी इट लोन और बी इट इन जनरल वी आर लायबल टू पे. अब ये लायबिलिटी होता है टू टाइप्स का. एक होता है लोन, इफ यू आर टेकन द लोन वी आर लायबल टू पे इट, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज फाइनेंशियल लायबिलिटी. ओके, इसमें आता है दो लोन, शॉर्ट टर्म लोन एंड लॉन्ग टर्म लोन. We are liable to pay short-term loan, we are liable to pay long-term loans. That's financial liability. But apart from that, I have bought raw materials from her, but I have not paid her. I have got, let's say, he worked in the company, but I have not paid him. Okay, she works in the factory, but I have not paid her. She's Modi, I have not paid her. Okay, he's my shareholder, but I have not given him something. And you are my lender, I have not paid you interest. So one more time, she is my supplier. I have not paid for the raw material. It's called as money payable. Technical word account payable. और एक technical word ये लोग यूज करेंगे sundry creditors. But as of now ठीक है, कल वाला word money payable. He worked in the company. I was supposed to pay him salary. I did not pay him salary. Salary is payable. I'm liable to pay salary. For what? क्या बोला था? Okay, she works in the factory, so I'm supposed to pay her wages, but I have not paid her wages. I'm liable to pay wages payable. Okay, government, I have not paid taxes. I'm liable to pay taxes payable. Investor, I'm liable to pay dividend. As of now, assume kore yes. I'm liable to pay dividend, but I have not paid, so it becomes dividend payable. I am liable to pay interest, but I have not paid, it becomes interest payable. One more time, interest payable, dividend payable, dividend payable also, tax payable, money payable, wages payable, salary payable, all payables are business liabilities. Okay, so two types of liability, financial liability, business liability. Financial liability, loans, short-term loan and long-term loan, and business liability, all are payable. एक और business liability है उसमें जो हमने कवर नहीं किया था, because कल मुझे लगा था बहुत जल्दी हो जाएगा. Shall I tell you that? अब तक कोई डाउट हो तो क्लैरिफाई करो, क्योंकि उसके बाद वाला लायबिलिटी अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए बहुत बेसिक सी होना चाहिए. Shall I tell you the liability? Business liability है. One, I have taken the products, raw material I have not paid her. That's account payable or money payable or sundry creditors. He works in my company, but I have not paid him salary. That's good, salary payable. I am supposed to pay him dividend, but I have not paid. Dividend payable. I'm supposed to pay tax, I have not paid. I'm supposed to pay interest, I have not paid. I'm supposed to pay wages, I have not paid. Now important. Most of you have given me fees, but I have not yet delivered all the lectures. For some of you, this is the second lecture. So because I have not yet delivered the lecture, I can't record the sales. अभी तो हमने बोला ना, सेल्स रिकग्निशन करने के लिए पैसा आया या नहीं ये मैटर नहीं करता, डिलीवरी हुआ कि नहीं ये मैटर करता है. फॉर सम ऑफ यू इन द सेकंड लेक्चर, फॉर सम ऑफ इन द सेकंड मंथ, थर्ड मंथ, अब तक सिर्फ मे एग्जाम जो कल खत्म होने वाला है, बाय द वे टुमारो इज द लास्ट स्लॉट फॉर द मे एग्जाम, बस उनका डिलीवरी खत्म हो चुका है. दोज आर टेकिंग अगस्त, नवंबर, फरवरी 27 एंड अहेड, उनका डिलीवरी खत्म नहीं हो चुका है. सो ऑल्दो यू माइट हैव पेड मी, I cannot record the sales because delivery is not yet done. So the money that I have got from you, इसको बोला जाता है एडवांस फीस. टेक अ नोट. एडवांस रिसीव्ड फ्रॉम कस्टमर. Anyone else? Dolo, paracetamol, something? मैडम बस एडवांस बारी होने पर ठीक है शूट टू डू है इधर दे दो है. अरे थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू. एडवांस रिसीव फ्रॉम कस्टमर्स. बट एक सेकंड पैसा आया ना. पैसा मतलब असेट. हाउ इज इट अ लायबिलिटी? दैट इज द क्वेश्चन. इट्स अ कॉमन कंफ्यूजन. सर तुम्हें तो पैसा मिला है. वी हैव रिसीव्ड कैश एंड कैश इज एन असेट. देन व्हाट आर यू सेइंग? यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस एज अ लायबिलिटी. हाउ इज इट सो? वेट, डोंट आंसर, डोंट आंसर. प्लीज राइट इट डाउन. I know some of you would know it, but I know that many of you would know it. For many of you, this is a surprise. The cash that I have collected in advance from a customer, it's a cash. Cash is an asset. And sorry saying it's a liability. Can you repeat the question? I have received cash from you guys, but I have not yet delivered. So I can't record the sales. Yes. So this is the advance that I have received from you guys. And I'm saying this advance that I have received from you guys, it's a liability. Because you are paid. Which came as a shock because advance that I have received from you guys is there in my bank account. It's cash. It's an asset. So from where the hell it's a liability? Because we are following a double entry accounting system. Every transaction has two sides. One, the cash that you have given me is there in my bank account. It's my investment. It's my asset. Agreed. But what if I say today is the last lecture of your batch? What will you do? If I say today is the last lecture of your batch. अच्छा, by the way, जिनको मैंने रिसिप्ट दिया, मैंने रिसिप्ट पे वो वर्ड लिखा नहीं है. बट वो वर्ड ऑब्वियस होता है, वो लाइन ऑब्वियस होता है. व्हाट इज दैट लाइन दैट कम्स ऑन द रिसिप्ट? एवरी रिसिप्ट हैज दैट लाइन. I know I may not have given the receipt, but like you would have bought some product and एक receipt आता है कि receipt this is money from you, receipt with thanks, this is this money from you, and उसके नीचे एक line आता है. The fees paid are non-refundable in any circumstances, right? Yeah. So in this circumstances, what will you do? I said कि आज last lecture है. Then what will you do? The receipt mentions fees are non-refundable. So can you go to court? Yes. But receipt mentions fees are non-refundable. But you have to deliver what. What does that mean? Fees are non-refundable का मतलब है like you attend the lecture whether you like it or don't like it. Doesn't matter. I'm not supposed to refund the fees. So if you enjoy the lecture, perfect. If you don't enjoy the lecture, you can't get a refund. Okay, it's like that watching the movie. If I don't like the movie, I can't get a refund. But अगर वो movie screen ही नहीं हुआ तो I would be able to get a refund. Although the receipt mentioned that fees are non-refundable provided I take the lectures. Whether you like it or not, that's a different story. But if I don't take the lecture, you are gonna get your refund. That means I am liable to give that refund. Provided I don't take the lecture, I am liable to give that refund. Take a note. If you don't deliver the products, the company is liable to give the refund. थोड़ा सा तुम यहाँ पे शूट थोड़ा सा कैमरा में तू. Okay, if the product is not delivered, the company is liable to give the refund. Underline the word liable. So basically, there is a liability either of taking lectures or whatever, delivering the product or of giving your money back to you guys. And hence, this is a liability. So this is how it's going to be recorded. The cash is going to increase because I received the cash from you guys. And on the liability side, a liability called as advance received from customer is going to increase. जिसको बीकॉम बैफ guys knows it as unearned revenue. a revenue, but it is not yet earned because the product has not yet been delivered. It's called as unearned revenue. I commonly call it in the lecture as advance receipt from customer. Equity has how many parts? Two. Share capital and return earning. Okay, let's go to the equity wala part that I'm going to discuss. Share capital and return earning. Okay, I'll ask about equity later on. So projector ka cost 50,000. Salvage value or scrap value is, let's say, 10,000, and projector's life is expected to be, can you jump? Yeah, you know, sorry. Life is expected to be 5 years. So the new thing that I added, which was not there in the yesterday, was this scrap value. So the projector cost was 50,000 and life was 5 years. So we are putting that as 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 in year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But now it's 50 and 10. Matlab the difference is 40,000. When I bought the projector, it's 50,000 worth, but I'm going to scrap it after 5 years. I'm going to get 10,000. So what is effectively the price that I pay? I pay 50,000 and I receive 10,000 back when I scrap it. So effectively I pay 40,000. And with that, I get a projector for 5 years. Do that 40 upon 5. 8,000 is that mystery cost that you're going to record every year. What is that? Good. Write down that 50 50 minus 10. It's 40,000 over 5 years. So that is called as 8,000 of depreciation for year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5. I don't write like this, just put like this. D1, D2, D3, D4, D5 is 8,000 each. Okay. Now this method, जहाँ पे depreciation is equal every year, has some name. Okay. वो name अभी नहीं दे रहा हूँ मैं. थोड़े टाइम के बाद वो name बता रहा हूँ. But it's another method according to which you can calculate D1, D2, D4, D5. उसका भी नाम है कुछ, वो भी अभी थोड़े टाइम के बाद देता हूँ. Let's take one more example. AC cost 90,000, lasting for 3 years, and scrap value, also called as salvage value, is going to be, let's say, 30,000. Okay, please do that year-wise depreciation. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, whatever. See the depreciation every year. But what's the depreciation meaning? In finance. In finance, what does the depreciation mean? Wonderful. Reduction in the value. कि रुपी का वैल्यू एवरीडे कम हो रहा है, रुपी इज गेटिंग डेप्रिशिएटेड एवरीडे. So depreciation in the meaning in the world of finance is called as reduction. And what is depreciation in the field of accounts? Allocation. So how much AC costed you? Effectively 60,000. It costed you 90 and its scrap value is 30. So effectively it's costed you 60. And for how long it is going to last? 60 upon 3, 20,000 per year. For how many years? Good, 3 years, because the life is 3 years. So 20,000 per year. And obviously these are not there. This was just there to confuse you. Okay. This method where we have equal depreciation every year is called as SLM method, full form is straight line method. Okay, straight line method of depreciation. Previous example also, it is called as straight line method of depreciation. Now this method of depreciation has some problems. वो क्या problems है अभी नहीं cover करें हम लोग, but interviews में पूछा जा सकता है. This method has some problems, and hence we shift to the other method which is called as WDV, written down value, also called as double declining balance. So written down value or double declining balance. इनका 11th 12th में कॉमर्स है या फिर मे बी इफ यू आर डूइंग बीकॉम यू विल नो दिस मेथड फॉर श्योर. एंड इसका फॉर्मूला है विच आई आस्क अदर बैचेस जो मैंने पहले लिए कि इसका फॉर्मूला बताओ, एंड किसी को नहीं आया था फॉर्मूला. आई ट्राइड दिस अंधेरी, आई ट्राइड दिस दादर, एंड आई गॉट सरप्राइज कि फॉर्मूला किसी को नहीं पता था. जस्ट रेज हैंड इफ यू नो दिस फॉर्मूला. लेट मी सी इन दिस बैच हाउ मेनी नोस दिस फॉर्मूला. आई एम सो सरप्राइज. आई वांट टू रियली चेक द 11th एंड 12th कॉमर्स के टेक्स्ट बुक. आई एम सरप्राइज रिटर्न डाउन वैल्यू का फॉर्मूला नहीं है डेप्रिसिएशन का. Anyways, we don't need to remember that formula because we have 3,300 rupees ka calci. Tell me the function of the calci to do this. अच्छा, those who don't have it, raise and please. दोनों के पास calci भी है. Okay. तीनों के पास ही. हाँ, फोन पे है ना. फोन पे है ना, चलेगा. Raise hand if you don't have a calci, neither on phone or no. फोन पे है ना. कौन सा calci? Texas K2 plus phone वाला. Ping me. Or you have a calci? Perfect. Just show that it will. See on the calci, do you see somewhere depreciation on the calci? Instead of me showing search, where do you see depreciation? Did you find somewhere depreciation on the calci? Yes. It is there on the top of the key number 4. 4 के ऊपर you can see this DEPR, which stands for depreciation. I want to go over there. So like इसमें अगर मुझे ये स्टार मार्क प्रेस करना है, how do I press the star mark? Shift and 8. वैसे ही the shift button on the calci is second. So press this button second and press the button 4. Okay, I repeat, press the button second and press the key 4, second and 4. I think most of you will see SL. If you have used the calci earlier or if you have borrowed the calci from someone who has used it earlier, then you will see DDB or DB equal to 200. I assume most of you are going to see SL. अगर DB दिख रहा है तो कुछ मत करो, but अगर SL दिख रहा है, SL, can you guess what is SL? Straight line method. We don't want straight line, we want double declining balance. You have to change the mode by pressing second, enter. ये SYD आया कुछ, we don't want that. Keep on pressing second, enter. Stop when you see DB equal to 200. DB declining balance and 200 wala 2 is double declining balance. One more time. This was it. I press second and 4 and now I see DB equal to 200, but I was having something like this earlier. So what I did, after pressing second and 4, I press second enter and stop when DB equal to 200. What is DB? Declining balance. And what is 200? Double. 2 wala, like double. Okay, scroll down with this downward arrow. What this could be? Life. What is the life? For this projector. पहला वाला example. 5 years. Projector, I'm saying projector, not the AC. I'm not talking about the AC. I'm talking about project, the previous example. So life is 5 years, so press 5 and enter. Press that enter key properly, yeah? Not equal to. Press 5 and equal to nahi. Press 5 and enter this button. When it shows equal to in between, I can see life and equal to. That means it has taken that. Pehle it was like this. Now when you press enter, it becomes like proper equal to. Scroll down. इसको ignore करना है N01. As of now, we don't require that. Scroll down. CST, what it could be? Good, cost. And that cost is 50,000. Enter. Okay, don't forget, equal to आ नहीं रहा ना, तो press enter then it shows equal to. Can I come थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे? ना मेरा neck पे हो रहा है. You won't be able to see, but okay. So I'll scroll down. Sal, what sal could be? Salvage value, which is 10,000. Pressing 10,000 and enter. Scroll down. Now this is the year which you want. जो जिस साल का आपको डेप्रिसिएशन चाहिए वो साल का नंबर डाल के एंटर करो. So for example, I want a depreciation for third year. So I'll press year as 3 enter. Okay. If I want it for 4, I'll press 4 enter. And I'll scroll down. This is the depreciation for third year, 7,200. Okay. Please get the depreciation for other years also. 1, 2, 4 files. कैसे करोगे? Just scroll up. Scroll up. Yes. Here, say 1 enter. Scroll down. Depreciation is 20,000. Okay. Similarly, again scroll up. Go to the year one more time. Put year as 2 enter. Scroll down. Depreciation 12,000. Go on for the other two also. Scroll up. Year 4 enter. Scroll down. Depreciation 800. And finally scroll up. Year is 5 enter. Scroll down. Depreciation is 0. So can you see a trend? Some trend kind of thing? SLM the trend was it was all equal. And now what is the trend? Good. Initially the depreciation is higher and then is going down. So that's the reason. What is that? What is that DDB ka full form? Double is understood. What is D? Second D? Declining. That's the reason called it declining. 20 declines to 12, then 7, then 800, etc. So it's called as double declining balance. Please try for this. You wanted to copy that? मतलब ये हुआ है ना? Anyone requires help, just raise it, I'll come there and help you. Please do this if you're done. ये वाला. कौन सा है? ये वाला है. 50 solid units. Don't put anything for M01, M01 को ignore करो. Put nothing for M01, just scroll it down. Please call me in case you require help. The answer is 60,000 and then 00. Okay, the answer for the double declining balance is 60,000 and then 0 and 0. Okay. Who is asking? Let me show how to do that. I'll sit down a bit, okay, because my neck is paining. Okay, just look on the screen. So I'll press second and fourth. Okay, DB 200, no change with that. Life 5 years ke jagah, life was 3 years. So we'll change that life from 5 years to 3 years. M01, we need to ignore it. Cost is 90,000. So we'll put 90,000. सैल्वेज वैल्यू 10 की जगह 30,000. ओके, ईयर 1 going down, depreciation is 60,000. Scroll up, year 2 scrolling down, the depreciation is 0. That's the 0. Scrolling up, year 3 and depreciation is 0. Okay, 0 क्यों आया? There is some reason to that. वो reason में अभी नहीं जा रहे हम लोग. But I'm writing the formula which I believe would be done in your 11th, 12th or in your first year of commerce. पक्का क्रेशिव झूठ बोल रहा है. I'll write down that formula. I think you guys should be able to recollect. Formula is ये syllabus में नहीं है. So BAF, I mean BFM, BMS guys don't write the formula. Depreciation for a year, let's say nth year, is equal to 2 divided by life into book value or carrying value of, also called book value, carrying value or amortized cost of previous year. For example, I have to calculate D3. Then 2 divided by life into book value of previous year. Book value could be called as carrying value or amortized cost of previous year. पक्का नहीं था, चांस ही नहीं है. ये मेरे एमबीए के अकाउंटिंग आइस ब्रेकर में था एंड सब कॉमर्स वाले चिल्ला चिल्ला के फॉर्मूला बोल रहे थे. 2009, 2008. Probably IFRS does not allow it, and maybe Indian accounting standards do not allow it. Maybe that's the reason. I am not sure. Okay, let's continue. FIFO versus LIFO. Like that. FIFO versus LIFO. FIFO stands for first in, first out, and LIFO stands for last in, first out. FIFO, first in, first out. LIFO, last in, first out. Okay, let me explain you what is the concept of this. That basically when we are making the products, you have to use raw materials. Now this raw material has been purchased, some of that in January, some of that in February, some of that in March. You are purchasing that every month. And sometimes what happens, the raw material prices keeps on changing every month. So maybe January ka raw material was cheaper, February was more, March was even more, so on and so forth. Now what happens is when you are making the products and some of the products you sell it, some of the products are unsold. So where are they? Warehouse मतलब इसमें कहां पर है? बैलेंस शीट में कहां पर है? फिनिश गुड कहां पे होता है? Assets, inventory. One more time, you make the products using those raw materials. Some of the products you make are sold. They go in the income statement. Sales के नीचे आता है cost of goods sold. COGS, cost of goods sold. And the products which are unsold, जो जाते हैं वेयरहाउस में, मतलब अपने बैलेंस शीट में जाते हैं, वो इन्वेंटरी में इन द असेट साइड. अब एक प्रॉब्लम है कि जो प्रोडक्ट्स हमने बनाए एंड जो प्रोडक्ट्स हमने सेल किए, जिनका कॉस्ट जा रहा है इनकम स्टेटमेंट में, कॉल्ड एज कॉस्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड, उन प्रोडक्ट में कौन सा रॉ मटेरियल यूज किया है? जनवरी का, फरवरी का, कौन सा रॉ मटेरियल यूज किया है? आई डोंट नो दैट. बिकॉज जनरली रॉ मटेरियल जो परचेज होता है डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स ऑफ टाइम पे ऐसे उठा के फेंक के रखा जाता है वेयरहाउस में. देयर इज नो काइंड ऑफ अ क्यूआर कोड और अ बार कोड टू फाइंड इट आउट कि ये प्रोडक्ट जो मैंने बनाया है, ये जो माइक बना है उसके अंदर चिप्स जो है वो जनवरी में बाय किए या फरवरी में बाय किए, मैन्युफैक्चरर आल्सो विल नॉट नो. तो दैट्स व्हाट द प्रॉब्लम कि जो प्रोडक्ट तुमने बनाया है उसमें रॉ मटेरियल जो यूज हुआ है उसका कॉस्ट ही तुम्हें पता नहीं है. तो हाउ विल यू डिटरमाइन द कॉस्ट ऑफ द गुड्स दैट इज बीइंग सोल्ड? दिस माइक इज बीइंग सोल्ड फॉर 10,000, बट ये माइक बनाने के लिए जो इंग्रेडिएंट्स है, जो रॉ मटेरियल्स है, उस रॉ मटेरियल का कॉस्ट ही हमें नहीं पता है, बिकॉज द रॉ मटेरियल वाज परचेज्ड एट डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स ऑफ टाइम at different rates, but then they were put together in the warehouse. So the labor went and took the raw materials like this. Now you don't know whether this was January or February. Is the problem clear? So now we are gonna be making an assumption. Number one assumption is जो goods sell हो रहे उनमें जो रॉ मटेरियल गया वो अज्यूम करो पुराना वाला था. ओके, दिस इज वन assumption. जो गुड्स सेल हो रहे उसमें जो रॉ मटेरियल गया अज्यूम करो पुराना वाला रॉ मटेरियल था. एंड जो गुड्स वेयरहाउस में बचे अज्यूम करो कि उसमें जो रॉ मटेरियल है वो रिसेंट वाला है. ठीक है, this is called as first in first out. The raw material which goes in the sold goods, assume that is the old raw material, January February raw material. Okay, and the the goods which are remaining, assume करो उसमें जो raw material है वो recent वाला raw material. Clear? And exactly उसका उल्टा is LIFO, last in first out. जो goods sell हो रहे हैं, जो product sell हो रहे हैं, assume करो उसमें raw material है recent वाला, and जो goods warehouse में है, assume करो उसमें raw material है पुराना वाला. Okay, take a note. Write down. Many times company do not know which raw material has gone for which production. Many times the company have no idea about which product, which raw material has gone in the production of which product. Maybe a diagram could help a better. Put it like this. So there was a raw material of January and there was a raw material of December, or let's say November. ये दोनों से हमने फिनिश गुड बनाया, फिनिश गुड X एंड फिनिश गुड Y. अब ये फिनिश गुड X सेल हुआ और ये अनसोल्ड है. Okay, so Tanisha, can you tell me what is the cost of goods sold? What is the cost of goods sold? Which good has been sold, X or Y? Which good has been sold, X or Y? X has been sold. And what was gone in the production of X? So cost of goods sold over here will consist of raw material of January. यहाँ पे हमें कोई assumption करने की जरूरत नहीं है, because we could specifically identify which raw material was gone in making of X and which raw material was gone in the making of Y, and hence there was no requirement of making any assumption. This is hypothetical. This is not going to happen practically. In practically, you won't know कि X में कौन सा raw material गया, Y में कौन सा raw material गया. You won't be able to bifurcate that out. So this was like hypothetical example. But she was right. Write down fixed finished good X was sold, and in that X raw material of January was used. COGS would be raw material of January. I mean cost of raw material of January. But such a specific identification is not possible always for the company. Right on. But such a specific identification of raw material is not possible for a company. So company makes assumption of either FIFO or LIFO. So such a specific assumption, I mean such not assumption, such a specific identification is not possible for the company, and its company has to make an assumption of FIFO or LIFO. Just put it like FIFO. FIFO. P stands for first in. First in matlab I call it old. Old matlab January, February के products, because the year starts. When does the year starts? Jan. Good. Jan. And first out. Out का मतलब है out. Out to the customer matlab sold. So we call it like old is sold. मतलब January के raw materials would be there in COGS, cost of goods sold. Sold. So cost of goods sold. And old matlab January, February. So old raw materials are gone. जो recent raw materials है जो दिसंबर में, नवंबर में जो परचेस किए, so नवंबर, दिसंबर के raw materials are there in the inventory. So the old raw materials have been sold. So first in matlab old and first out matlab sold. Old matlab January and sold matlab cost of goods sold. So January would be found in COGS. I mean, raw materials purchased in January would be found in COGS. वैसे ही let's look at LIFO. FO, first out मतलब sold. Sold मतलब COGS. And last in or latest in मतलब just recently आया. Recently आया मतलब कब आया? End of the years. Like December, November, December वाला. So November, December wale raw materials would be there in COGS, and Jan, Feb wale raw materials would be there in inventory. Now this does not make sense practically कि recent raw material use करो और पुराने वाले raw materials inventory में रखो. Doesn't make sense, and as a reason, Indian accounting standards do not allow LIFO. Take a note, this does not make sense that you use recent raw materials and old raw materials you're keeping it in the inventory. Obviously, their quality will deteriorate. So you should use older raw material first, like this. So you should use older raw material first, and the recent raw material should be there in the warehouse. But यहाँ पे you're using the recent raw materials first, and older raw materials are still there in the warehouse. Their quality could deteriorate. So this is generally not done by the companies, and its Indian accounting standards do not allow it. Take a note of this. This is insane. Like using the recent raw materials and using the keeping the older raw materials in the warehouse does not make sense, because the quality of the older raw materials could deteriorate. And it's IAS. What is IAS? Indian accounting standards don't allow this. LIFO is not allowed by Indian accounting standards. वो क्या है? International जो चलता है? Yes. IFRS also doesn't allow LIFO. Write down, Indian accounting standards doesn't allow LIFO. IFRS also doesn't allow LIFO. And वो क्या है जो यूएस में चलता है? GAAP allows LIFO. I'm not saying GAAP says LIFO use करो. They say LIFO या FIFO में से कुछ भी use कर सकते हो. So write down, GAAP allows LIFO और FIFO भी, दोनों चलता है. So LIFO is allowed only in US, not internationally, not in India also. Okay. Let's do a little fun. It's not in the syllabus, but let's see if you understood this properly. So so December 31st of the last year, I had 100 raw materials जिनका cost था 10 रुपया. Okay, January में I purchased 50 raw materials जिनका cost था 15 रुपया. May month में I purchased 20 more raw materials जिनका cost था 20 रुपया. Okay, I sold during the year, I sold 80 products for a selling price of $50 each. I'm an American company. I'm going to use LIFO. Please calculate my profit. So sir, profit मतलब sales minus cost. Sale, हमने 80 प्रोडक्ट सेल किए. हर प्रोडक्ट का सेलिंग प्राइस है 50. तो टोटल सेल्स आर गोइंग टू बी good, 4,000. 80 into 50. So that's my starting point. I have sold 80 products, and these products have been sold for this. So write down, sales would be 80 into 50, 4,000. Coming to the cost of those 80 products. आई डोंट नो, जैसे वो तनिषा को मैंने पूछा था, तभी उसको पता था कि जनवरी हैज गॉन इन एक्स एंड व्हाट फेब्रुअरी हैज गॉन इन वाई, बट अभी हमें नहीं पता है, तो हम अज्यूम कर रहे हैं। क्या अज्यूम करें हम लोग? हाँ, लीफो मतलब क्या? उल्टा। तो उल्टा जाना है। लास्ट, अच्छा व्हेन आई से लीफो डोंट से फुल फॉर्म। ओके, लास्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट वो मत बोलो। व्हाट इज लीफो? डोंट से लास्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट। ओके, लीफो का मतलब है द रीसेंट इज अज्यूम टू बी सोल्ड। तो जो 80 प्रोडक्ट सेल हुए ना, वो रिसेंट वाले सेल हुए, ना कि ओरिजिनल वाले, रिसेंट वाले सेल हुए। सो कैन यू स्टार्ट डूइंग एंड टेल मी व्हाट इज द कॉस्ट ऑफ दोस 80 प्रोडक्ट्स व्हिच हैज बीन सोल्ड? Once you get that cost, subtract that from 4,000 sales, you will get your profit. Write down. LIFO assumes. Write down, write down, write down. लिखो लिखो लिखो. LIFO assumes that the products sold are the one recently purchased. The recently purchased products are sold first. Tanya, write down. The LIFO assumes that the recently purchased products are sold first. So which are the recently sold products? Okay, so May, लेकिन May में तो सिर्फ 20 प्रोड्यूस 20 परचेस है, हमें तो 80 बेचना है. So first we are going to exhaust this. अभी भी 60 बचा है. Then we are going to exhaust this. अभी यार 20 plus 50 70 हो गया. अभी भी 10 बचा है and that 10 we are going to take from here. So बाकी के बचे हुए 10 we are going to take from here. So we're going to take this 20, we're going to take this 50, so that makes it 70, and for the remaining 10 we're going to be using this. So 20 into 20, अरे बोलो कॉस्ट कितना है? Cost is 400. Okay, so here the cost is 400. 50 into 15. And then 10 into 10, not 100 to 10. We are not using entire 100. We're just using 10 out of that. So 10 into 10, that's 100. This becomes your total cost. Subtract this total cost from the sales of 4,000. You get your figure of profit. Answer. 100 plus 750 plus 400. That's your cost. Sales 4,000, cost 1250. The profit is 2750. Is it clear? Samjha? Bad thing is not in the syllabus, although you understood it. But still, you should know it. Let's do one more example like this. Achha, let's do the same example. Copy, copy, copy the same example. Just changing one thing in this, copy the same example, changing it to FIFO. Okay, write down the profit as per FIFO would be. Sales उतना ही है. Sales is 4,000 only. Come. Yeah, sales is 4,000 only. The 80 units sold for $50 each. The sales is $4,000 only, but cost, recalculate. What is FIFO? Don't say that. Don't say first in, first out. What is FIFO? We assume that the original inventory is going to be sold first, not the recent one. The original inventory will be sold first. Okay, start with that. Original inventory is being sold first. What is the original inventory? This was the original inventory. So all the 80 products would be sold from here only. So 80 into 10, that's the cost. What is 80 into 10? 800 is the cost. 4,000 sales, 800 is the cost. The profit is 3,200. Clear? Sales उतना ही है. 80 into 50. Sales is 4,000. And the cost is 80 into 10, 800. बाकी सब कुछ inventory में. So cost 800, sales 4,000, profit 3,200. You're saying something? You're asking. I know अभी थोड़ा मजा आया होगा, but syllabus में नहीं है. Okay. Return earning of last year was 500. This year, company earned a profit of net income is called as profit. Net income or profit of the current year is 100, and company declared 40% dividend. What is the return earning of the current year? I think we did similar question like this yesterday. Not about a week ago. So till last year, company had a cumulative profit which was retained was 500. This year, company earned 100 ka profit, but it declared a 40% dividend. So how much dividend they declared? 100 ka 40 percentage. They declared a dividend of. They declared a dividend of. So out of 100, they declared dividend of 40. So how much was retained? And पहले वाला 500. Don't forget पहले वाला 500. So this year का 60 has been retained plus 500 of last year. Retain earning becomes 560. Is that clear? So what happens is basically the retained part of the current year builds on the previous year. So till last year, what by the way, what was retain earning of last year? What do you mean by 500? Like 500 retain earning of last year, what does that mean? Since start of the company till last year, company ने cumulatively 500 रुपए का profit retain किया था. Take a note of that. What is retain earning of last year का 500? What is the meaning of that? Like what does this mean? Write down, since start of the company till the last year, company has cumulatively retained 500 का profit. Why did they do that? क्यों रिटेन किया उन्होंने प्रॉफिट? पूरा का पूरा प्रॉफिट उड़ाया क्यों नहीं डिविडेंड्स पे? यहाँ पर क्यों रीइन्वेस्टमेंट किया? Because they wanted to buy some raw materials, they wanted to buy some machineries, and उसके लिए पैसा चाहिए था. तो they like लोन लेने से अच्छा ये पैसा यूज करते हैं. Okay, so since start of the company till today, the company has a cumulative profit of 500, and this year company has a profit of 60, retained profit of 60. 500 of last, 500 till last year and 60 of this year adds up to 560. I'm write down. This year company has retained profit of 60 and plus 500 till last year it becomes 500 plus 60, 560. At the start of the year, which is also called as last year, inventory at the beginning of the year or inventory last year was 500. Or let's say dollar नहीं 500 inventory था. During the year, guys, silent please. During the year, we purchased 200 units of inventory. During the year, we sold 400 units of inventory. How much inventory do we have at the end of the current year? So at the start of the year, we have 500 ka inventory. During the year, we purchased 200 units of inventory. And during the year, we sold those 400 units of inventory. So how much do we have at the end? Yeah. 500 plus 200, 700 and minus 400 because we sold it. So answer is 300. Share capital was 1000 in the year 2025. And in 2026, the share capital has become 900. And in 2027, the share capital has become 1200. Comment what happened in 2026 and in 2027. Okay, share capital was 1,000, it became 900 and it became 1,200. Comment what happened in 26 and what could happen in 26 and what could happen in 27. What happened in 26? Share capital went down. How did the share capital went down? The company paid money to the shareholders and bought their shares back. So in the year 26, share capital went down because company did share buyback. इतना ही लिखा है तो 0.5 mark. Share buyback of $100 लिखा है तो 1 mark. Okay, so in 2026, if company has done a share buyback of $100. Okay, and in 2027, the share capital increased from 900 to 1,200. How did the share capital increase? I issued you shares and I collected money from you guys. And hence share capital increase. So in the year 2027, there was a shares issuance, 0.5 marks. Share issuance of $300, 1 mark. This level 3 level 3 में ऐसे marks cut होते हैं. If you write just share buyback, 0.5 marks. Share buyback of $100, then full marks.
So basically share buyback कंपनी तब करते जब कंपनी शेयर्स रिटर्न देते हैं. So they give
कंपनी रिटर्न नहीं करती, कंपनी लेती है वापस. Let me tell you the accounting entries. Write down the accounting entries for share buyback. Accounting entries for share buyback. To Tajrian, company is paying the cash. In the case of share buyback, company is paying the cash. So what should happen with the cash? Okay, company is paying the cash, so cash will go down. So obviously company will do this only when they have enough cash. So cash goes down, asset goes down. And equity side pay, just I mentioned right now, the share capital is going down. So share capital will go down. The equity will go down. तो ये जो शेयर्स बायबैक किए हैं, दे आर, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, दे आर, पहले एक्चुअली क्या होता था, पहले व्हेन द डीमैट शेयर्स वर नॉट देयर, तो एक्चुअली द इन्वेस्टर्स जिनके शेयर्स कंपनी बायबैक करी है, दे वर यूज्ड टू बी कॉल्ड इन द कंपनीज ऑफिस, दे यूज्ड टू सबमिट देयर शेयर सर्टिफिकेट एंड देन द कंपनी यूज्ड टू टेयर इट and take a signature of the investor that your share certificate has been surrendered and has been teared. So those shares are no more existent. It's not like I have bought your shares. So if I buy your shares, the shares ka ownership has got transferred. So if I buy your shares, then I will pay you money. I will pay you money, and you will give the shares to me. RK Finance Classes is not paying you.
Okay.
So RK Finance Classes shares which were with Tajrian has been transferred to Rajara. This is normal NSE VSE ka selling, which is called as secondary sale. Okay, and when Tajrian goes to RK Finance Classes and surrenders the shares to RK Finance Classes, RK Finance Classes gives you the money. You submit your shares to RK Finance Classes, they tear your shares. That's called a share buyback. So in the normal secondary market sale, you give your shares not to the company but to another investor and he pays you. And in the case of share buyback, you give your shares to the company pays you, and company cancels your shares. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Write down accounting entries for shares issuance, which is like IPO, FPO. What happens? Company receives, a company pays. Good, company receives. So what will happen to the cash? Louder, guys. What happened to the cash? Good. And then the share capital is also going to increase. Like it increased from 900 to 1,200. The share capital will increase, equity will increase, cash and assets will increase. The share issuance. Okay, cost of a machine is 10,000. Life of the machine is 3 years. Scrap value of the machine is 1,000. Tell me the depreciation in second year using SLM and double declining balance. Depreciation for the second year using SLM and double declining balance. SLM answer? Good. 10,000 minus 1,000 is 9,000. 9,000 divided by 3. That's 3,000. Whichever year it is, like year 1, 2, 3 doesn't matter. It's straight. Straight matlab equal. So 10,000 is the cost. 10,000 is the cost minus 1,000 is the salvage value, scrap value, and divide that by 3. The depreciation is 3,000. As per SLM is 3,000. As per double declining balance, कैसे करना है? Good. So to press second and 4, DB 200 आ गया, तो ये टाइम को second enter करने की जरूरत नहीं थी. Life is 3 years. M01 ignore. Cost is 10,000. And enter. Scroll down. Salvage value is 1,000. I mistakenly press extra 0. This is the backspace. This button is the backspace. Okay. Enter. Scroll down. I am looking for year 2. So press 2 and enter and scroll down. It's 2222. Okay. Next question. Any doubt? पक्का सबको clear है, right? वो फॉर्मूला है 2 divided by life. Okay. The reasoning is that when the machine is new, it's generally more effective, it's more efficient, and as a reason, more cost should be allocated in the early years. And as the machine ages, as it goes in the later years, its efficiency drops down, and as a reason, its effectiveness drops down, and its lesser cost should be allocated in the recent years. So basically, it's concept called as matching principle. Like in the initial years, the projector would be like more better, it will be more efficient. It should provide more revenues in the initial years. In the later years, its effectiveness will go down. So its revenue generation capacity will go down. So in the initial years, the revenue generation is more. In the later years, revenue generation capacity is lower. And its cost also should be like match with the revenues. In the early years, because revenue is higher, more cost should be allocated. And in the later years, as the revenue would be lesser, lesser cost should be allocated. So that was the reason the initial years would be higher, and as we go down, the depreciation will become declining. Estimates है कंपनी. So right on this, life and scrap value are never known with certainty कि एक मशीन कितने साल तक चलेगा, and वो मशीन जब खराब होगा तब उसका scrap value कितना होगा. No one knows that with certainty. Write down scrap value, also what is salvage value, and life are not known with certainty, and they are to be estimated. Okay, now let's see that when we are selling the machine, let's see whether we have a gain or loss when you're selling the machine. Putting the bottle down. Thank you. Okay, so let's say I had bought a projector. Let's say I bought a machine for 50,000, and then after 3 years, I sold it for 47,000. Calculate whether I have a gain or I have a loss. Wait. This is not 10 standard, 9. This is not 5th standard, so थोड़ा सा use करो. You bought the machine for 50,000, you used it for 3 years and then sold it for 47,000. Calculate the gain or a loss. So bought for 50, sold for 47, we sold for 3,000 lesser, you have a loss of 3,000.
But you have used it for 3 years, so you
So-
have made something
So-
from it. You have made something from it and sold it.
So how do I know that? I repeat, I bought the machine for 50,000, I sold it for 47,000. 50 पे buy किया, 47 पे sell किया, 3,000 का loss है. इसमें mistake क्या है? स्क्रैप वैल्यू कहां से है यहाँ पे? स्क्रैप वैल्यू जब अगर मैं मशीन फेंक देता था बाद में, मैंने मशीन फेंका नहीं है, मैंने मशीन सेल किया है. So what's the mistake over here? Right on, by the way, loss of 3,000 first. 47,000 selling price minus purchase price 50,000, so loss of 3,000. Why is that so? Why so? What is depreciate? Wait, one second. What is depreciate? She said it will depreciate every year. What does that mean? Then that is what he said, right? Value getting declined. That is economic depreciation or finance depreciation. What we want is, someone was saying over here. What's saying? So we are using that machine. That's what he said. So you're generating some revenue out of it. So मतलब वो मुझे नहीं पता ना revenue कितना generate कर रहा हूँ. Okay, so let me give a like ये लोग जो करे, write down D1, D2, D3 is 10, 10, 10. Okay, D1, D2, D3 is 10, 10, 10. मतलब आपने वैल्यू कम नहीं हुआ 10-10 हजार से, आपने allocate किया 10-10 हजार का cost over 3 years. Because you have used that machine for the 3 years, you allocated 10, 10, 10 cost in year 1, 2, and 3. Value did not decrease. Unlike what she said, value has not decreased by 10, 10, 10 every year. You have allocated 10, 10 every year. If the value would have declined, it would have been called as finance depreciation. Because here we're doing accounts, it's called as like allocation of the cost. So every year you allocated 10, 10, 10 as a cost. So together you have allocated 30 as a cost. Allocate का मतलब होता है depreciation has been allocated का मतलब होता है you have recorded that as an expense in the income statement. तो out of 50,000, 30,000 आपने depreciate कर दिया, तो जो asset का value balance sheet पे है, machine is asset or a liability? मशीन का वैल्यू जो बैलेंस शीट पे है वो है 20,000. तो आपने 50,000 का असेट 47 में नहीं सेल किया है, आपने 20,000 का असेट 47,000 में सेल किया है. आई रिपीट वन मोर टाइम. You might have purchased the machine for 50,000, but every year you have allocated 10, 10, 10. So in 3 years you have allocated 30. So out of 50, 30 has been already allocated. बचा हुआ 20 is the cost on the balance sheet. Write down the machine's value on the balance sheet. The machine's value on the balance sheet is 50,000 minus 30,000. The machine's value on the balance sheet is 50,000 minus 30,000. Where is minus 30,000? Yashi, where is 30,000 coming from? 10, 10, 10 together adds up to 30. This makes it like bracket 10 plus 10 plus 10. So machine's value on the balance sheet is 20,000. 50,000 minus 30,000. Okay, इसको बोलते हैं, एक वर्ड है carrying value. Okay, it's called as carrying value or book value or amortized cost. Amortize मतलब like amortize करने के बाद वाला बचा हुआ cost. Original cost was 50, but after doing this depreciation, जिसको और एक word है amortization, simply allocated cost. After doing that allocation, the remaining cost is 20,000. 20,000 का मशीन आपने 47 में बेचा है, ना कि 50 का मशीन आपने 47 में बेचा है. यू हैव सोल्ड मशीन whose worth is 20,000 for a price of 47,000. You have 27,000 का gain. So show it like this. 50,000 cost, selling price 47,000, and a loss of 3,000 is mistake, is wrong. 20,000, ये कैसे आया सानिया? 20,000 कैसे आया? हाँ, but कैसे आया? 50,000 was the cost. Good. This is called as book value or carrying value. This is, just put it like this, 50,000 minus 30,000. Put a box around that. And selling price 47,000. That's a gain of 27,000. Okay, this is correct. So you should not compare selling price with purchase cost. You should compare selling price with depreciated cost, carrying value, or book value.
So then how we allocated that 10,000 per year?
मैंने ऐसे बोला था, स्ट्रेट लाइन करके मैंने बोला था.
But
But
how
will be
we
giving.
are giving.
नहीं मतलब तुम लोग नहीं कर सकते ऐसा, मुझे बताना चाहिए था ये. So there was no way that you could find out. उन्होंने लाइफ वाइफ अज्यूम किया 5 साल का. It was not mentioned. उन्होंने अज्यूम किया 50,000 minus 0.5. It was not mentioned. Scrap value of 0 was not mentioned. Life of I is not mentioned. The question was not complete.
No, sir.
So you couldn't calculate again. I just wanted you to know this point that loss is not 3,000. I mean, there was no loss over here. There was actually gain. So there was no way that you could do this question without knowing about the scrap value, without knowing about the life, or at least without knowing about D1, D2, D3. So I should have given you D1, D2, D3, which I said later on 10, 10, 10. So together 30 was allocated. So out of 50, 30 is gone, 20 is remaining. And then we sold it for 47, giving us a gain of 27.
ये कंपनी का शीट डेप्रिसिएशन ज्यादा बदला है तो फिर
वही तो है ना, 2 plus 2 could be 3 also, and 2 plus 2 could be 5 also. Okay. Beginning inventory $1,000. Ending inventory $3,000. Sold, which is called as cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold, that is sold, is 500. What is the purchase? What is the purchase? Last time इजी था. Beginning, purchase, sell दिया था, पूछा था इन्होंने ending. थोड़ा सा ट्विस्ट किया. And second question, लास्ट ईयर का रिटेन अर्निंग $1,000. दिस ईयर का रिटेन अर्निंग $1,200. नेट इनकम फॉर द करंट ईयर इज 500. What's the dividend? Independently. No discussion, no discussion, no discussion. Do it independently. Guys, do it independently. Right. Guys, do it individually. Don't discuss, please. Do it individually. The first way. Whatever you like. What's the mistake in admission? Purchases are? Purchases are? The formula was beginning में purchases add होगा, sold वाला subtract होगा, then you should get the ending inventory. Formula was beginning plus purchases minus sold मतलब minus cost of goods sold should be equal to ending. So beginning was 1000 plus purchases, let's call it X, minus COGS, cost of goods sold is 500, and that's equal to ending inventory, which is 3000. Okay, so 1000 will go on the other side and become minus 1000, and minus 500 will become plus 500. So X will be equal to 3000 plus 500 and minus 1000. So that becomes 2500. Purchases were 2500. How many made a mistake? I go from silly mistake. दो तीन लोगों ने किया. Raise hand please if you made a silly mistake. Okay. Coming to the second question. How many got it right, by the way? No, raise hand. How many got it right? क्या mistake? I understand only, but figured it out. Now is it clear? Yeah. Beginning plus purchases minus COGS minus the goods sold is equal to ending. Formula. हाँ मतलब normally ना, let's assume like, let's put it like this. So this is the beginning jar. Beginning jar which has 50 chocolates. You purchase, मतलब you add. Oh, got it. Yeah. Okay, then you sell. So that's like minus. Same thing, like beginning inventory plus purchases minus the sold is equal to ending. Okay. Second one. Till last year we had retained 1000. Okay, so till last year we had retained 1000. अब दिस ईयर में 500 में से कुछ पार्ट रिटर्न होने वाला है, एंड वो ये दोनों को देख के पता चल रहा है कि 500 में से 200 रिटर्न हो रहा है, बिकॉज टिल लास्ट ईयर वी हैड रिटेन 1000 एंड दिस ईयर वी आर लाइक टुगेदर कंपेयर टू लास्ट ईयर वी आर रिटेनिंग 200 मोर, सो विच मीन्स दैट आउट ऑफ 500 200 रिटर्न हो रहा है. Okay, so return earning has increased by 200. That means out of 500, 200 is getting retained, and hence the remaining 300 was the dividend. Okay, take a note of this. The return earning has increased by 200, indicating that out of 500 net income, 200 has been retained. ये थोड़ा सा difficult है, it's fine मतलब, but ये वाला easy था. As the return earning has increased by 200, as the return earning has increased by 200, out of 500 net income, we have retained 200 and paid out 300. Write down, out of 500 net income, we have retained 200 and paid out 300. I mean, paid the dividend of 300. As the return earning has increased by 200, out of 500 net income, we have paid out, we have retained 200 and paid out 300. Okay, I bought rubber for a cost of 1000 rupiah. Guys, silent please. I bought a rubber for a cost of 1000 rupees and not yet paid. Okay, I made a tire. Let's assume at a zero cost. मतलब उसमें और कुछ cost नहीं लगा. Made tire. Processing cost 0. And sold it for 5000 rupees and not yet received the money. Okay, you have to show me the accounting effects of that on the income statement and the balance sheet. You brought the rubber, matlab raw material, for a cost of 1000 rupees. You did a processing on it. You made a tire out of it. But assume processing cost is 0, and then you sold a tire for 5000. Neither you have paid 1000 nor you have received 5000. How will the balance sheet look like? How will the income statement look like? Is the question clear? Is the question clear?
Yeah, yes.
पैसा गया भी नहीं है, पैसा आया भी नहीं है, तो ना सेल हुआ है ना रॉ मटेरियल का कॉस्ट हुआ है. हुआ है? We follow accrual based accounting, right? So although you have not received the money, shall I record the sales? Yes. But although I have not delivered the lectures, I have collected the fees, shall I record the sales?
Yes.
No. I cannot record the sales until you pass the exam or until your exam is done. Clear? Only at that time the contract between you and me is done. Then you can't put a legal case against me. Right? At that time, I will say the product is delivered. At that time, I can record the sales. Till that time, I am liable to refund the advance or I am liable to take the lectures. Okay, so unearned revenue or advance received from customer is a liability, like account payable, wages payable, salary payable. यहाँ पे कुछ कनेक्शन नहीं है, but the point of telling you this was कि कैश कलेक्शन पहले हुआ या कैश कलेक्शन बाद में हुआ कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. You can record revenue when the product is delivered. Have we delivered the tire? Sold it मतलब? Sold it मतलब? Delivered it. There would be sales. Similarly, although I have not paid her salary, at the end of the month, I have recorded that as an expense, although I have not paid the salary. तो मैं सैलरी एडवांस में पे करूं या सैलरी बाद में पे करूं, उसका एक्सपेंस रिकॉग्नाइज करने से कोई कनेक्शन नहीं है, बिकॉज वी फॉलो accrual based accounting. Assume everything else is zero. Write down tax, dividend. Assume everything else is zero. Write down assume everything is zero. क्योंकि सोचा सर प्रॉफिट है तो टैक्स कितना है, देन प्रॉफिट में से कितना डिविडेंड होगा. Assume everything else is zero. First one right, second one wrong. No, the balance sheet the first part. Amount चाहिए था मुझे.
So you want the accounting entry, right?
एंट्री मतलब वही एंट्रीज एंड इफेक्ट्स में मैं कंफ्यूज था. So for me entry का मतलब है इनकम स्टेटमेंट बैलेंस शीट कैसे लगता है. So that's called as you guys are getting set effects, and for you entries was debit credit. So I don't want debit credit, I want the final thing on the balance sheet. Amount चाहिए था. Where's the money paid by achieving price? Finished good going down by 5%. Let me correct one mistake that I'm seeing. Almost all, as of now, not got a single correct answer. तुम लोग फिनिश गुड को डाउन करे हो बाय 5000. किसने बोला फिनिश गुड 5000 है? रॉ रबर कितने का है? रबर कितने का है? 1000 का. प्रोसेसिंग कॉस्ट कितना है? तो फिनिश गुड 5000 कैसे आ गया? What is finished good tire? Tire is consisting of two things. One is rubber and processing. Rubber is costing 1000, processing is costing 0. So finished good is worth 1000 and not 5000. तुम लोग finished good को 5000 डाउन कर रहे हो. Finished good 5000 कैसे हो गया? Finished good consists of tire, consists of rubber and processing. Rubber is costing 1000, processing costing 0. Tire का cost is 1000, not 5000. Finished goods will be down by 1000. तो जो लोगों ने 5000 लिया है, they have all made a mistake. But then this is not balancing.
Sorry.
This is not balancing. Still not a correct answer by anyone as of now.
Still paper. What is? We haven't paid him now yet. So
1 second. Perfect. Good. All right, guys, time up. Number one thing, there was a sales of 5000, there was a cost of 1000, there was a profit of 4000. So, talking about the income statement, we sold it for 5000. So, in the income statement, we record sales of 5000. And the cost of that tire was 1000. Processing cost was 0. So, the total cost of that tire, called as cost of goods sold, was 1000. So the profit, which we call it net income, is 4000 because I'm assuming everything gets a 0. So net income is 4000. So that's your sales. This two together is your cost. Difference is your profit. Coming to the balance sheet. First, you bought the raw materials. So your raw materials are going to go up by 1000. Okay, it's an asset, it's your investment. And I cannot take my cash down because we did not pay the cash. So I can't show like this. So is it done? The answer is no. Because we have not paid cash, we are liable to pay cash. So that's called as money is payable, money is liable to be paid. So money payable would be going up by 1000. ये बहुत लोगों का right आया. Assets will go up by 1000. Liabilities will go up by 1000. You can call it account payable, you can call it sundry creditors, whatever. Okay, so this was the first entry which was right for almost all of you. Any doubt in this? You got the raw materials, so raw materials will be up, assets would be up, but because you have not paid the money, the cash cannot be going down. This cannot happen. You are still liable to pay, so it's called as liability. Money payable will be going up by 1000. So this will take the liability up, this will take the asset up, balance sheet will balance. Any doubts? Second thing, जहां पे तुम लोग ने पहले मिस्टेक किया था, then 3-4 लोगों ने करेक्ट किया. Okay, when you are selling that raw material, I mean finished good, that raw material has already become finished good. That raw material of 1000 में processing cost add करके it has become a finished good, and that finished good is now sold. It's gonna go down by 1000, not by 5000. Finished good was never costing 5000. It was costing 1000 and 0. So finished good was costing 1000 only. So finished good, when it goes down, I mean when it gets delivered, finished good gets down by 1000 only. But unfortunately, customer ने हमें 5000 रुपया नहीं दिया है. They have not yet given this 5000 rupees to us. They said, don't you know us? We have been doing business. We won't run away. The money is still receivable from customer. We have trusted the customer. We have invested in the customer's trust. Invested matlab asset. The money receivable or account receivable will be going up by 5000. But then the balance sheet is not balancing. It's not balancing because ये जो profit है, net income, we are not paying any dividend out of it. All the profit is being retained in the company, and this will go in the equity side. In the return earning, the net income of 4,000 may say dividend is 0. Entire 4,000 is retained, so return earning will go up by 4,000. Equity will go up by 4,000. And assets down by 1, up by 5. Assets are also overall up by 4,000. Okay, this was the correct entry for the entire transactions. Okay, this is not complicated things, but okay, just for you, अगर dividend होता था, तो whatever dividend you pay, cash will be down by that, and the return earning would be up by, let's say, dividend is 100, cash will be down by 100, return earning would be up by 3,900. Ignore करो last के 10 second का discussion ignore करो. Is this clear? Anything else that you guys want me to cover in the basics of accounting? कुछ करो और इनके लिए करो. सब कुछ क्लियर है इनको. और कुछ तो लग रहा है मैंने नहीं कवर नहीं किया. D4 पेपर कर I guess it's covered. Yeah. You're asking something?
Yeah. Can we write it raw material instead of capital?
No, you can't deliver raw material to customers.
Okay.
So raw material plus processing cost become finished good. Processing cost मैंने जानबूझ के नहीं दिया था, उसका entry थोड़ा सा difficult है, so I have not given the right. ठीक है? So that was it. We'll start with the actually already started ना. Introduction to FSA हमने already चालू किया था. Alright, so but I don't think so like और intro की जरूरत है. I think this was required. I don't think so और कुछ चाहिए. I'm trying to recollect it. Okay, let me ask some questions to see if you guys understood everything. What's your background? What's your background? Commerce. अच्छा ठीक, commerce. What is an asset? Asset means क्या? What is asset? I am an engineer. What's an asset?
Basically, investment which gives us company returns.
Okay, so I agree with the first. It's an investment that I have made, which gives us cash in the future. Okay, what's a liability? But why am I liable to pay him? What has he done to me that I'm liable to pay him?
Government or your people or any salary.
Either he has given me a loan right now, and hence I'm liable to give that loan to him back. So this becomes a financial liability, or he has given me a raw material, or he has given me some kind of a service in the factory or service in the office, and hence I'm liable to pay him salary or wages. Clear? That is called as business liability. So what is an asset? Asset is an investment which gives you cash flows in the future. What's the liability? You got something right now, and hence you are liable to pay for that. Clear? Okay, what are the things in equity? Right? Come on, yaar, share capital. Okay, what does share capital of 500 mean? What's your name? Sorry, I forgot. What does the share? Sorry? RN. So what is share capital of 500 means? If there is a share capital of 500 in the balance sheet equity side, what does that mean?
We have showed a profit from inside.
Share capital. And I didn't say the retained earning, I said share capital. Since inception of the company, they have raised 500 rupees in total from the investors. Okay, share capital means money raised from the investors since inception. So since inception till today, the company has raised 500 crore from the investors. Okay. What's the retained earning of 700? What does retained earning of 700 means?
The company
This was what you were asking.
says profit of 700 so that
Good. Since inception, the company has earned 700 ka profit and stored it and cumulatively retained that. So they might have earned more than that, but they have paid the dividend. So cumulative retained profit is 700. Okay, what's the difference between machine and copyright? What's the similarity between machine and copyright? Okay, so what's the similarity and what's the difference between machine and copyright? कॉपीराइट कोई कॉपी नहीं कर सकता। ओके थोड़ा सोचो, व्हाट्स द डिफरेंस एंड सिमिलरिटी बिटवीन मशीन एंड कॉपीराइट? हाउ डिड यू गेट मशीन? Yes, Anya, how did you get machine? How did you get machine? You invested. How did you get the copyright? You again paid to someone. Investments. Both of them are your investments. And both of them, by the way, are your long-term investments. You don't buy machine every year. You don't buy copyright every year. So these are your kind of one-time investment which are going to be there with you lifetime. So both of them are good long-term asset. जिसको by the way और एक word है fixed नहीं, but copyright cannot be like fixed. इसको और एक word is called as non-current asset. So short-term asset are called as current asset and long-term asset are called as non-current asset. Take a note of that. Short-term asset CA current asset and long-term asset NCA non-current asset. Okay, short-term asset CA current asset and long-term asset NCA non-current asset. So both of them, which I was asking her, are your one-time investment or recurring investment. Like you buy copyright every year, you buy machine every year. So both of them are your one-time investment which is going to last long, and hence they are long-term asset or non-current asset. Okay, and what's the difference between these two?
One is tangible.
Wonderful. One is machine is tangible, copyright is intangible.
So do we have additional
We have it, but अभी intro इसके लिए मैं उसमें नहीं जा रहा हूँ, premium account ये सब में नहीं जा रहा हूँ. But there's minority interest also. There is treasury stock also. I'm not going into details of that.
because of
That's again a part of share capital. I'm not going into details of that. I'm looking at so many basics. Sorry.
Like machine gets depreciation. But
हाँ. अच्छा, by the way, ये जो अभी what she said तानिया ना, see when we allocate the cost of the machine, the same formula by the way, the cost minus scrap value over life वाला case, and when you do the same thing for the copyright, because copyright is also there with you for a limited time. Like आप Domino's के पिज्जा you can't make it lifetime. तो आपने जो पैसा पे किया है एंड वो जो आपने जो पैसा पे करके वो जो कॉपीराइट बाय किया है उससे यू डोंट गेट अ लाइफ टाइम राइट्स टू मेक द पिज्जा, यू गेट इट फॉर 10 years. So that price that you have paid to buy that copyright also needs to be allocated over 10 years. ओके तो जो मशीन का कॉस्ट है जैसे आप अलोकेट करते हो ओवर द लाइफ ऑफ द मशीन, वैसे ही कॉपीराइट का भी कॉस्ट 10 साल या 5 साल अलोकेट करना है. टेक अ नोट ऑफ दैट. Like machine has a life, machine has a limited life, वैसे copyright also may have a limited life. Some copyrights by the way are perpetual also, like Microsoft का license perpetual. लेकिन ChatGPT हमें every year अगर free use नहीं करते बोल रहा हूँ, जो paid है that every year we need to like renew it. ChatGPT फ्री कैसे मिल रहा है? कोई तो किसी पे तो मुझे मिला था लास्ट टाइम. मेरा फ्री वर्जन है 2027 तक, पर मुझे खुद याद नहीं आ रहा है मुझे फ्री कैसे मिला. हाँ जियो में है क्या? यस जियो या एयरटेल में?
एयरटेल में
Perplexity है. Anyways, okay, fine. So point is that the copyright may be perpetual sometimes, but we are taking the assumption of copyright of having like life of 10 years. Right? Like machines have a limited life, copyright also could have a limited life. Like machines cost is allocated over the life, similar to that copyright's cost is also allocated over its life. Using either SLM or DDV. What is SLM? Straight line. What is DDV? Whether depreciation will be higher earlier then will be going down. Like machines cost is allocated across its life, copyright's cost is also allocated across its life. That I'm using SLM or DDV. Like machines cost is allocated across its life. Similarly, copyright's cost is also allocated across its life. बट जो मशीन का कॉस्ट का अलोकेशन है उसको जो वर्ड हमने दिया था मिस्ट्री कॉस्ट डेप्रिसिएशन, इसको बोलते हैं अमोर्टाइजेशन. ओके टेक अ नोट ऑफ दिस. फॉर मशीन द अलोकेशन इज कॉल्ड एज डेप्रिसिएशन एंड फॉर कॉपीराइट दैट अलोकेशन इज कॉल्ड एज amortization. amortization. There's no difference. Just that the words are different. Technically, there's no difference. It's the same concept, but just that for machines, the word is called as depreciation, and for copyright, the word is called as amortization. Intangible thing. But what you were asking, conceptually, क्या difference है? कोई difference नहीं है. Conceptually, there's no difference. Just the word is called as depreciation for tangible and amortization for intangible. Okay, let's see for him. Do I do that beginning inventory purchase or will you go to do that next question like fast? Thank you.
Sorry.
Beginning inventory purchase that you'll do it, you'll be able to do it now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's it. Should be good. Fine. So that's it for intro. Let's go into the actual syllabus. I already started with the actual syllabus. Let's continue the actual syllabus.